Did Jaguar Wright just expose Cassie for helping Diddy to cover up Kim Porter's murder?
I know that you and Kim Porter had a sit down right before she left us. And I know Kim had some very good advice to give you, and I believe that this is why things are happening as they're happening now.
Jaguar Wright is back again, and she's spilling some major tea about how Diddy forced Cassie to hide very sensitive details about Kim Porter's death. According to Jaguar, Kim had a very deep conversation with Cassie about Diddy just before she died, and that Cassie knows exactly how Diddy unalived Kim. Some sources say this is why Diddy settled that lawsuit as quick as he did, because he doesn't want Cassie to reveal that in court. Jaguar claims Diddy murdered Kim by poisoning her, and he used Cassie to hide some of the details of the murder so it wouldn't be traced back to him.
They paid homage to certain sacrifices and homage to certain idols. They would drink, party, be merry, and the men would have sex with each other.
Okay, so if you haven't been keeping up with Jaguar over the years, then you've seriously been missing out, because she's been exposing Diddy for some of his heinous crimes way before Cassie filed that little lawsuit, and it don't look like she's gonna be letting up anytime soon. At the time of Kim Porter's death, Jaguar was one of the first people to spill the tea about how Diddy used to physically assault her when she was alive. And now with the whole Cassie versus Diddy incident, Jaguar is back at it again. See, just 24 hours after Cassie filed that lawsuit, Diddy settled it for an undisclosed amount, but it's rumored he had to pay around $100 million, despite him literally denying the allegations publicly. This was a major shock to people because Diddy isn't exactly known to be very generous with his money. I mean, we all know he's notorious for making his artists sign the worst deals in the industry and keeping a very large percentage of their income for himself. I mean, hell, it took him over 30 years to pay up even half of what he owed his artists. So with that in mind, you could see how people were very surprised about him settling that lawsuit in a day with more money than what she asked for. And if anything, it made him look more guilty and just about confirmed that Cassie had way more dirt on him than he could even imagine. But what really got people talking is how disturbingly similar the details of Cassie's lawsuit were to that of Kim Porter's. Just like Cassie, Diddy got Kim hooked on drugs, controlled everything in her life, and physically assaulted her all the time. The first time this was reported was back in 2005 when Diddy broke Kim's nose after he caught her sneaking around with Shakir Stewart during their on-again off-again breaks. A source who spoke to Media Takeout said, by 2 a.m., they were arguing loudly. This went on for several hours. Then at 7 a.m., there was screaming. Diddy flew in a specialist plastic surgeon from Geneva after the incident. Porter has since claimed that she hurt her face after she, quote, banged her nose on a table. Things got even worse when Shakir was found dead in his home. A lot of people immediately suspected Diddy was responsible for this, and this was fueled by a source who said Diddy had actually gone to beat up Shakir for messing with Kim. Quote, Kim was seeing Shakir and Diddy found out and he went apeshit. He tracked Shakir down to his hotel. Then Diddy went up there without security and beat him to a bloody pulp. Diddy told him that he was going to erase him from the earth and that he would have him killed. So with that, it's really no surprise that Diddy was the first name to pop up after it was reported that Kim had died from pneumonia. And get this, Kim's family didn't believe that for a second because she never had any underlying health conditions. But it wasn't just Kim's family. Her ex-husband, Al B. Shore, also slammed the news about her dying from pneumonia. He said that she was murdered when he posted a video of himself crying with the caption, "Just found this footage from the morning I learned of Kim Porter's murder and how it ripped the soul from my physical body. I do know very clearly that Kimberly didn't just check out all of a sudden over pneumonia. That's some He made another post where he said that she was running from someone and how he asked her to call the FBI for protection. He said in the comments, "You would never believe what she went through." And guess what? Just about 3 months after I'll Be Sure made these posts, he was admitted to the hospital for multiple organ failures before eventually slipping into a coma. Now, even though he managed to survive, he's been very quiet since and hasn't mentioned a word about Kim or Diddy ever again. But we all know who ain't afraid to speak out, and baby, that's Jaguar Wright. In fact, just about a year ago, she revealed that Kim Porter's death was ruled a homicide by the first coroner who was in charge of investigating the case, but he was replaced right before he was that close to digging up the truth.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And
she also talked about how all the people Diddy started with in his career all died and got sick just before they were writing tell-all books. One of those people included Kim, who was writing her tell-all book before mysteriously passing away.
But when you think about Kim, I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. They were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And I'll Be Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest, because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning, just him.
But just as I said before, Jaguar is not letting up on Diddy. She just came back from a very long break and is spilling some very disturbing information about how Diddy tried to convince Cassie to hide Kim's murder. Jaguar claims Kim met up with Cassie to warn her about Diddy just a few days before she died. Kim reportedly told Cassie that she suspected that Diddy was gonna take her out, but she didn't know exactly how he was gonna do it. This explains why Diddy was spotted with Cassie just a day after Kim's death, even though they had broken up about a month prior. Diddy and Cassie broke up in October 2018. However, after Kim died, Cassie and Diddy were spotted together. Well, the streets are saying Cassie knows exactly what happened to Kim, and Diddy allegedly threatened Cassie. And this is why she kept quiet for so long, because she was very afraid of Diddy. Child, now I see why Diddy settled that lawsuit within 24 hours. He just knew Cassie would have exposed far more of his nasty little secrets. And in an interview with Storm Monroe, Jaguar praised Cassie for finally breaking free from Diddy and talked about how Cassie has had to keep this info about Kim's death to herself in order to stay alive.
And I know Kim had some very good advice to give you, and I believe that this is why things are happening as they're happening now. Kim was smart, wasn't she, Cassie? Kept you alive and kept you safe. I will advocate for you. I went to shits, honeycomb. But you are a victim. And I know that. Congratulations on surviving and congratulations on standing up. I'll advocate for you. That pussy. And his little fucking dog.
Now, word on the street is the FBI is looking into reopening Kim's murder investigation again because there are way too many inconsistencies that show that her investigation was not conducted properly due to external interferences. It looks like Diddy ain't gonna be able to dig himself out of this mess because the evidence against him just keeps piling up and more people are speaking out. One person said, for Diddy to settle 24 hours after Cassie filed a lawsuit only proves that she knows extremely too much information, times, and locations about Diddy's dark world and all the things he's done. Another person said, LAPD needs to reopen the investigation on Kim Porter's death and a full investigation into Sean Combs. Shame on them if they are remiss in this. It would only mean that they are on Sean Combs' payroll. And someone else said, my God, this reopens everything that Kim Porter went through. I believe every word Cassie says, and I want Kim's death investigated. Kim spoke to Cassie prior to her passing. Cassie's civil case was brilliantly executed. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do y'all think about Cassie allegedly helping Diddy hide Kim's murder? And do you think Kim's case will be reopened for another investigation? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.